latest in tech suit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. ENDO compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Vinzo. Battleborn.
Thank you, Scotland, for joining the movement.
Topping up from the tap is such an improvement.
You're tapping into a positive force.
Helping protect a precious resource.
It's your water, your life.
Top up from the tap with Scottish water.
Fresh, cool, clear.
And only available right here.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Royal Commonwealth Pool. It's Friday the 13th of 2019. In your commentary this evening, I'm Robert Taylor. With me is Alan Lynn, who is the Scottish national coach. Good evening, Alan. Nice to have you with us this evening.
Excuse the heavy breathing. I was struggling to get over the seats to the commentary point.
Yeah, it's been a tight squeeze getting in here tonight. That's what we've got ahead of us. We kick off with the two fastest heats of the men's 800 free and the women's 800 free. We then follow with A and B finals of the men's 400 IM. Just a moment while we get a photo shot for Scottish swimming. That's us, Alan. I think we're sorted now. So
sorry
back to
looking at Twitter. Not my best side.
Yeah. So we have the men's 4 and women's 400 IM, men's and women's 100 free, men's women's 50 breast, 100, 200 back, and we conclude with the 50 butterfly for both men and women. These will be B finals, then the A final for all of these, Alan, and fun events at the very end, medley relays, which are always a good finish to the session, aren't they?
Yeah, great. People love relay teams. We need more of them, in my view, across the sport and across the levels of the sport. So yeah, great way to finish. Relays are always exciting, and there are some pretty fast-looking teams in those last couple of events.
Yeah. Looking forward to this evening. What would your sort of standout event be? Is there one of maybe 2 or 3 that you're looking forward to more than any?
Well, we've obviously got some outstanding prospects. The men's and women's 400 IM feature Mark Tronick and Hannah Miley, respectively, who are 2 of our very best swimmers of all time, never mind medley swimmers.
Just bear with me a wee moment while I just get some paper passed over to it.
Okay, there we go. Yes, medley is exciting, all 4 strokes, and 2 great exponents of that who've swum in the recent ISL competitions, Mark Tronick and Hannah Miley. Of course, the men's and women's 100 free are always the blue ribbon events of any competition they're in, and we've got Ross Murdoch, Craig Benson in the men's 50 breaststroke, which will obviously be pretty exciting too. We've got highlights throughout the evening, and it's an exciting prospect for us all.
Nice also to have Freya Anderson up here doing the women's 100 free after last week at the Europeans.
She really was the belle of the ball last week in Glasgow. Freya has been known to us in Scottish and British swimming for a long time, and has really amazed herself on the international stage in Glasgow, both at European long course last year and European short course last week. So yeah, tremendous prospect for us to see her, a great spectacle as she'll dominate that women's 100 free.
Yeah. Also 50 breaststroke for the women, youngster Katie Robertson against Cara Hanlon. That might be an interesting battle.
It will be. The Edinburgh University team will be scrapping it out for that title.
So the first thing that we do this evening, I think, Alan, we've had a presentation to Gregor McMillan as para-coach of the year.
Gregor is of course based at University of Aberdeen Performance, better known in that context for coaching Tony Shaw and Conor Morrison. But he also has an able-bodied squad of some very good youth and prospective senior swimmers. So yeah, Greg is a really good young coach, and we're delighted that he's won that award.
In the background, if we maybe just keep quiet for a wee sec, you might be able to hear President just giving a wee vote of thanks to everybody. See if you can pick that up on the system.
Breathless and astonished by your drive and commitment. Our organisation is proud of all that you have already achieved and of everything you will want to do in your sporting career and beyond. Tonight and over the next 2 days, we look forward to cheering you on as you reach out towards your goals, whatever they may be. I wish every one of you all the very best in tonight's events and over the 2 days of competition that lie ahead. Thank you.
It's Morag MacDonald, SASA President. I hope you were able to hear that. That's what we always do first day at the evening session. Our President comes along and thanks everybody. As you can see, we've got lots of officials who give up their time freely to come along and support the athletes. You see them all seated poolside, and we couldn't run these without them, Alan.
We could not. Sport wouldn't exist without volunteers. The length and breadth of Scotland, the UK, indeed all around the world. It's a real pleasure to be able to travel as part of this role that I have and meet people in the swimming family all around the world. And every single competition you go to, we have the same army of volunteers on deck, behind the scenes, making things work. We've professionalised coaching, we've professionalised swimmers now over the last few years. That will never be professionalised, and I don't think it ever should be. People do it for the love of it, for the joy of putting something back into sport or back into their sport, and you're absolutely right, you cannot run competitions without it.
Yeah, thanks Alan, and this is the last big event of the year. Short course, always delighted to see a lot of people coming up from England. We couldn't run this so successfully and have so much competition without their support.
We could not, and delighted that the calibre of people mentioned Freya Anderson a few minutes ago, but we've got some outstanding swimmers from Bath University, for example, some of Freya's teammates from Ellesmere, and Ryan Livingston has brought his City of Newcastle group up too. So they're here for a reason. They're not here because it's convenient or cheap. They're here because the quality of competition of the Scottish Short Course Championships is one that attracts them and the swimmers.
Yeah. So I think we're just about ready to get underway. As you saw in the graphics, we start with the fastest heat of the 800 free for men, and that follows with the fastest heat for the women. So it will be pretty hot heat, this one. We've got our own Stephen Milne, Perth City, who's been round the block quite a while here. So we'll see how Stephen performs tonight. Two or three lads, as you say, from Bath up to challenge. In lane one we have Charlie Poole from University of Stirling, Adam Wilson, Newcastle swim in 2, Stephen Milne, Perth City in 3, Tom Derbyshire from Bath in 4, Kieran Bird also Bath, and Luke Turnley from Bath 5 and 6. Kieran Thomas, Newcastle in 7, and Liam McLaughlin from Wander Bath. He's the youngest in the field at 17 in lane 8. Just the 2 Scots in this one, Alan?
Yeah, that's a feature of something we've been talking about quite a lot in the sport this last probably few months, up to a year or so, is the dearth of distance freestylers, male and female. In fact, it's true across British swimming, and is becoming a bit of a worldwide phenomenon too, which is that people are not prepared to, coaches and swimmers, do the work that they're required to be successful at distance freestyle, which is a real shame, because winning the mile, as it's known, was a fantastic achievement in the past, and we're concerned about it in the sport, and we're hoping that the ISL and things like it are not the ruination of distance freestyle swimming.
Yeah. As a commentator, Alan, it's an event I love to commentate on, distance freestyle. I just feel that that is the pinnacle of some of the athletes. You get so many exciting finishes as well. It's not the fact that an 800 that's going to be won by 20-30 metres. Some of these can be very, very tight, very exciting. So,
well, last week at European Short Course we had the world and Olympic champion and a record holder, Paltrinieri from Italy, who was in a really, really close tussle, eventually winning in a superb time, and that was one of the most exciting races of European Championships last week in Glasgow.
So at this early stage, lanes 4 and 5 are the fastest entry times. It's Tom Derbyshire in 4, but leading that is Kieran Bird. So 2 Bath swimmers, and just the other side of them in that distinct red cap is our own Scottish swimmer Stephen Milne. I'm sure we'll just track them early doors, Alan. That's he doesn't normally like to dominate it. I'll be quite happy sitting there and just seeing how this develops, as long as he can keep in touch.
Yeah, Stephen's been, I think, probably back to basics would be the topical political slogan of the day in relation to what he's done this season. Of course, he's an Olympic silver medalist from Rio, in that men's 4x2 freestyle, but also, people may not know, Sam, the 400 free individual did a personal best time, Scottish record, and the 1500 free at the Rio Olympics, and just missed the final in both events. So he is a good distance swimmer, and although the 200 free really, or the 800 free really has been a feature of his programme for the last few years, he has this season in particular gone back to that distance freestyle base, and we'll see what he does here. He tends to be very strong on the second half of races, but he's had a punishing training schedule, as I say, over the last few weeks and months, so this may not just be quite the best of him as he tries to make that Olympic team again in April in London for Tokyo.
So we've gone 250 at this point, 222.09 and 222.87. Kieran Bird, Tom Derbyshire. Those two pretty comfortable on the front at the moment.
Yeah, they are, and Stephen's going to, unless he's able to pick it up significantly in the second half, he's going to be a pretty lonely figure there out in lane number 3 in third place. These guys are setting a reasonable pace. They're ticking over at under 60 seconds per 100 out in 55, 252, 251, pretty good times. So they're coming up now to 350 metres. This is a pretty good performance so far from Kieran Bird. He's pushing this on nicely. He's trying to shake off his teammate Tom Derbyshire, who's the more favoured swimmer, certainly in terms of entry times. Youngsters who are watching, coaches who are watching, this being short course, then significant number of turns in this particular race, 31 of them, and at this moment in time he's still going at the wall pretty strongly. 49.89 at the halfway mark. Yeah.
Pacing, as you say, Alan, under the minute mark for each 100, so pretty strong, steady pace. Stephen Milne some way back now in third. And certainly Kieran Bird just beginning to pull away now from Tom Derbyshire.
I'm not a fan of the double breathing into the wall, it would have to be said. Those of you who know me and who are daft enough to be listening to me again on the live stream will realise that it's not a great coaching point to breathe doubly into the wall there. Attack the wall with your final stroke, and you don't need that extra breath. By the time that oxygen gets in your body, you're halfway down the next length, and there's really no need for it. But swimmers tend to like to do it in terms of the pace and the rhythm of what they're doing, but there's really no technical or physiological benefit from doing that. And were I his coach, and I know he will be, pretty frustrated at him doing that on every single turn.
Other thing, Alan, you notice that some swimmers breathe every 2 strokes, others breathe every 3. What's your feeling, your views on those?
At this age and stage, it really is what suits them best. He didn't double breathe into that wall, by the way, he must have heard me. It's really what suits them best. The rhythm of the stroke will be what works most effectively as they're developing as youngsters. Most of us would believe in bilateral breathing for freestyle sets and training, and then if they want to hit on a different pattern when they're racing fast, that's entirely up to them. But certainly he's quite comfortable breathing to both sides, Kieran Bird, and most swimmers are adept at that, even if in a race they don't do it. He's actually going better off those walls now.
Yep.
There must be some sort of telepathic communication going on from up here in the commentary box.
I'm sure there is.
He's really attacking those walls, and he is trying to pick things up on the second half of this race. I'm not sure his best time was his entry time, but certainly this is going to be quite an impressive swim for him, and it's nice to see somebody going along so well in distance freestyle, given my earlier statement about how weak it is in Scotland and Great Britain at the moment.
Certainly there's certain events when we get to national events where we only have a handful of swimmers doing 1500 and 800. It can be a wee bit disappointing to see the depth of swimmers in these events.
On the other hand, because we've been talking about this and putting some emphasis on it, we are seeing some green shoots of recovery, again with the political soundbite, in the younger swimmers, both male and female, particularly in the Midlands and the North Districts of Scottish swimming. Some of the coaches and swimmers are really turning their attention to this, which is very pleasing. It'll take a while for that to be shown at this level, but they are beginning to take it a bit more seriously again, which is really good. Here we go then, penultimate 50. In fact, it's the last 50.
And just for everyone tuning in, there will be a Scottish champion, and the Scottish champion certainly looks as though that will be Stephen Milne. Even although he finishes in third, he will be the Scottish national champion. We also have a junior champion as well, Alan. That's the best junior up to the age of 16 as of the end of this year. But there we have Kieran Bird, 7:43.76, and on an entry time of 8:027. It's a pretty impressive swim from Kieran.
This will be, I mean, short course season is very short these days, so these will certainly be season's best for those guys, having maybe only swum it once or possibly twice at the most in this last 3 or 4 months. So I think they'll be well pleased with their workout. They certainly look like the effort is told on them all, and the telltale red back and shoulders as the blood flow gets around those working muscles. They look reasonably chuffed with their start of their evening swims.
I'm sure 7:54.51 for Stephen Milne. He'll be pretty happy with that at this stage of the season.
Yeah, I'm trying to gauge some. His coach Ann Dixon is down there on deck, scribbling away on her pad, and she's not giving much away. I think she might have expected something a wee bit more from him, but he's got a pretty intense card all weekend, so we'll see.
So that concludes the men's 800. We now move on to the women's. In lane 1 we have Rebecca Reid from Aberdeen Amateurs, 2 Phoebe Griffiths from Ellesmere College Titans, her teammate Amelia Rodd goes in 3, Daniel Huskinson from University of Stirling in 4, Lauren Witherall, Ellesmere College Titans in 5, another Ellesmere College Titans swimmer in 6, Mia Leach, Lucy Headley from Tynemouth goes in 7, and Laura Hodgson from Newcastle in lane number 8. And last 2 swimmers, 15 and 14 from the north of England, sub 9 minutes, so got a lot of good swimmers from the north of England that come up, and 6 English swimmers in this one, Alan, as we had in the last one. 2 Scots in lane 1, Rebecca Reid and Lauren Wetherall in lane number 5.
Yeah, this should also be an interesting tussle between teammates. Ellesmere College are well known for their work ethic, for the intensity with which coach Alan Butcher, who himself was an outstanding distance freestyler, how he conducts his programme, and swimmers from there are usually pretty tidy on the distance events. Even if it's not the specialism, they're usually pretty competent, particularly at this stage of the season. I did notice that Alan tweeted about Freya Anderson last weekend when she did so well and just missing a medal in the 400. Something along the lines of should we have entered the 800?
Yeah.
I didn't see Freya's response, but I can imagine what it might have been. But it does show, humour aside, that her swimming just outside 4 minutes, that she's got a pretty good range from all the freestyle events. And her teammate Lauren Weatherall, who's a former member of the youth squad in Scottish swimming, is taking it out nicely in 61.54 seconds. To her right is Danielle Huskisson, who's returned just a few weeks ago from a very intense training camp at altitude as part of her build-up to try and make the Olympic team on the open water squad.
So 3 girls at the moment, fairly well bunched: Lauren, Danielle and Amelia Rod. 134.13 through to 134.58, verse 3. Certainly Lauren Weatherall much better over the longer distances, Alan, as you know.
She is. She's really made some steps forward when she moved to Ellesmere. She had promise and she swam. She came over from America and swam at the City of Glasgow. Still set PBs, but really has kicked on since she moved to Ellesmere College Titans and was part of the European Junior Championship team last summer. Did well, set their personal best times across the freestyle events and won a medal in the 800 free relay.
Yeah, I think she finished 8th in the 800, Alan.
Yeah,
did really well. Very good swim over there.
Danielle's the most experienced campaigner in the race, and she'll know exactly what she's doing. What Danielle tends not to have is a kick at the end of the race. So if the other girls are there and if they are faster than her on the 200 freestyle, then it might be an interesting finish down that last 100 metres or so.
Well, now we're starting the race. Rebecca Reid over on that far side. When you're hacking to have distance freestylers, she's one from the north that very gutsy, continues working hard over that long distances year after year, and it's good to see her in this final.
It is indeed, and she swims with Aberdeen ASC, a very, very famous historic club in the Granite City. Produced some outstanding swimmers over the years, and Rebecca's carrying on that fine tradition of freestyle swimming.
Lauren Weatherall's going pretty well still, sticking with Danielle, coming down.
They just need to stay in touch with Danielle. If they can stay on her hips, there may be that exciting finish that I mentioned before, but if Danielle manages to get a body length or so ahead and then continues to press that advantage, I just think it'll be too much for Lauren to pick up over that last 50 or 100 metres.
When they get down, it will be halfway, Alan. An idea of likely finish times, somewhere around 4:15 at halfway. Danielle in at 8:34, Lauren 8:38. So there's barely a second between them at the moment. So as you say, if Danielle can kick on the next, say, 150 and open up a gap, then it will be a little bit demanding perhaps for Lauren to come back, but she's sticking in there pretty well. It's still less than a body length.
She is. On long course PBs, that Danielle has a significant advantage, but Lauren is not letting her get away, and if she can just stick within that half a body length to a body length distance, then I would favour her over that final 100 metres. Danielle trying to press home the advantage now, and Lauren just managing to stay with her.
It was a good turn there from Danielle, just maybe gained half a metre there. This is probably the key part of the race now, Alan.
It really is. I mean, Danielle may have a tactic to try and swim an even pace or a negative split race, in which case she's really going for that. That's the fifth 100 now, 5:19. She's almost a couple of seconds ahead of Lauren now, so that may well have broken Lauren's spirit, but she's trying to stick in there. If Danielle doesn't get too much further ahead, then the mind game advantage goes slightly back to Lauren, but Danielle really pushing hard now.
Amelia Rudd in third place. She looks good for third in Ireland. She's certainly well clear of Phoebe Griffiths there, or Ellesmere College Titan swimmer. Ellesmere College second, third, fourth, and in fact fifth. Mia Leach coming through into fifth place.
The seedings for these distance events don't usually lie, certainly not too much. And in the last race, the men's 800, it was lanes 3, 4 and 5 that were in the first, second and third place. In fact, the seeding was right because lane 6 was fourth, and it's looking likely that that's going to be the case again here.
And the gap just increased significantly now. It's over 3 seconds. You kind of fancy that Danielle has just picked up the pace at the key point, and this will be very hard for Lauren to try and pull that back now with less than 200 to go.
It will, but she has to stick to her technical execution plan. She's got to keep that stroke as long as she can, not snatch too much at it. She's got to keep her leg kick going at a nice steady beat. They're working in and out of those turns. Her goal may have been to win the race. Her goal may have been to do other things, and with her coach Alan Butcher, she'll have worked that out. She's a tenacious competitor, Lauren. She's not going to give in, even although Danielle has taken things on from the 400 metre mark. And they've got 100 to go. I think both girls will pick it up. I think Danielle will be pretty pleased with this swim whenever she sees the final time.
She's about 8 metres clear at the moment. 7:28. So you'd expect her just a little bit over 8 minute, 8:30 odd mark.
Indeed, which is just about on her long course PB. So if she's managing to do that short course at this stage of the season, that'll be a reasonably good marker for her and her coaches at Stirling.
Now the bell will be ringing now, and it's about 10 metres now. Well, we're 8:07, so it's probably 2 or 3 seconds perhaps over her entry time, but nevertheless, pretty gutsy swim from Lauren Rail. Tried hard to stick to the task. We had well clear in third. Here comes Danielle to finish, and just inside the entry time, a very good time indeed, 8:31.82.
Nicely paced swim from Danielle Huskisson out in front. Lauren in second, 8:40.05.
Amelia Rudd, 8:43.23, takes third place. Phoebe Griffiths in fourth. Mia Leach in fifth. And the two youngsters from the northeast also inside 9 minutes. 8:55.79, 8:56.01, and Rebecca Reid, as you can see in the caption, in a corner, finishes time not on our screen yet, Alan, but they were 9:09.96. Well, maybe not Rebecca's greatest race today, but nevertheless good swim to finish off the season for her in the 800. So we move on to our individual events that we had this morning. We kick off with the men's 400 IMB final. Swimmers in this one: Tom Robinson from Aberdeen Performance in 1, Gianna Napolitano, University of Stirling in 2, George Smith, Ellesmere College Titans 3, George Clough, University of Stirling 4, Rory Dixon, University of Stirling in 5, Fraser Allison, Edinburgh University 6, Samuel Naylor, Newcastle 7, and Ruben Vista from Surrey Sheffield goes in 8. So times in this one from this morning: 4:27, 4:56 through to 4:33.76.
I don't think anybody will be doing the double of the 800 free in the 400 IM.
I wouldn't have thought so, Alan. No. So George Clough and Rory Dixon, the two middle lanes, are the fastest coming into this, but could really go anywhere.
Yeah, the guys who are in the middle lanes will be, I know they are, having spoken to them and the coaches, disappointed not to have made the A final. It's always the way when you have a B or a consolation final that the people in lanes 3, 4 or 5 are disappointed not to have made it into the A final. However, they still have a shot at executing their plans, at achieving their objectives for this competition. So having said that, the disappointment will have been put to bed in the swim down pool this morning, and all of these guys indeed will be trying to put in a better performance this evening. 400 IM is a tough event, joking aside about doubling up with 800 free, and some of these guys in here are pretty well known for their medley swimming, and they'll be looking to round off the short course season with a good performance in this event tonight.
And George Clough in for certainly well there. Gianna Napolitano in lane 2 and going off to a good start along with Ruben Vista from City Sheffield in lane 8, and certainly Gianno over in 2 is going pretty well. His backstroke and his butterfly are pretty strong, Alan, as you know. His breaststroke will be the one that he's really going to pick up on and try and hang in there, because George Clough is very strong on breast,
yes,
as is Rory Dixon.
They both are both what we call back end swimmers on medley. I stood with George Clough's former coach Kostas Kalitsis and his current coach Brad Hay during the warm up as he was doing some backstroke pace work, and there was a bit of gentle ribbing going on, as you would imagine, from the coaching brethren. Halfway point 2:06.9, 2:07.2, not much in it, but you can see from that breakout on the breaststroke that George Clough is already pressing home what advantage he can on this third leg.
And this is something, Alan, George, this is his second year at uni. Last year, you know, it's always difficult for swimmers to make that transition into university swimming. First year's always tough, and it's nice to see George picking it up in the second year.
It is, and what's important is that people stick at the things that made them good in the first place. And yes, there's adjustment, living away from home, university, academic demands, illness and injury are all things that they have to cope with, especially in this Scottish climate that we have. So first year is tough, but George managed to turn it round towards the back end of that. The first semester is particularly tough for people, and this is us right at the end of the first semester of the university calendar. So yeah, it is really pleasing to see George making some improvements closer to his previous form.
And Rory Dixon sticking in there. Rory, first year at uni, having moved from North Ayrshire. Very accomplished IM swimmer is Rory. And he's coming back at George. No surprise to see Rory finishing the race that little bit stronger than George.
No, and I mentioned, I think, in the previous race about a tenacious competitor. I don't think I'll find a more tenacious competitor than Rory Dixon on the Scottish swimming scene. He's really trying to work his second last length in the last 25 against George. I think it's probably just about got enough of an advantage, but they're helping each other towards a pretty good time here. George's PB is 4:21 and Rory's is slower than that. So
George, as you say, George just hanging in there. 4:22.66, 4:23.13, and both guys pushing one another on. And you can see how pleased George was, Rory, The two of them shaking hands, and I think they're delighted with the way they performed there tonight, Alan.
Yeah, they've made each other work hard, and that's exactly what they should be doing. They'll be doing that day in, day out in training, and I think Rory will be pretty pleased. They'll be more pleased of the two. And Jano, their teammate, also took it out and set the platform really for that nice second half swim from George Clough and Rory Dixon.
Jano will also be happy to be under 4:30 as well. Nice swim from him from lane 2.
Well, indeed.
Yeah. So this is the big one. As far as this evening's concerned, 400 IM. For the men, we have that's actually the B final. Don't be fooled. That's actually the A final. Lads are out, but we don't have them. It's actually Jay Manners in lane 1 from Derwent side. Zach Loeb from Newcastle in lane 2. Joel Thompson, Ellesmere College Titans in lane 3. Mark Sharanek, University of Stirling 4. Charlie Hutchison from the Ellesmere College Titans in 5. Callum Laurie, University of Stirling in 6. Angus Allison, Warner Bass in 7. And Tony Joe Trent Oliver in lane 8 from the University of Stirling. So just 3 English lads in this one. Jay Manners in 1, Joel Thompson 3, Tony Joe Trent Oliver in 8. We should have an interesting battle between Matt Sharanek and Charlie Hutchison and also Callum Laurie. Don't discount Callum in lane 6.
Mark Sharanek, of course, won a silver medal in a really tight race last year at the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast. In this event, he's definitely the class of the field and is in fine form already this season, swimming for the Cali Condors in the ISL. He'll also be competing in the final of the ISL next weekend for them in a small desert town called Las Vegas. Not known for its swimming, but certainly known for its sport and its casinos. And Mark will be there as part of that Cali Condors team who'll be in the final, inaugural final of the ISL. And Mark has swum particularly well for them on this event in the qualifying rounds.
Will you have the joy of getting over there yourself to watch that? Or you just have to try and watch it on live stream if it's on?
I'll be watching it live streaming, critiquing the commentators, obviously, as you do. No, Mrs. Lynn won't allow that to happen the weekend before Christmas.
So it's Christmas shopping for you next weekend, is it?
Not that anybody who's listening will be interested, but no, it's the Valley and the Lion King for me. But there you go. That's a really nice, strong first 100 from Mark Sharanek. Charlie Hutchison, who is in lane 5, seeded second. Another of the Ellesmere Titans that we've been talking so much about already this evening. He has been an outstanding junior swimmer, part of our national youth squad programme, and has featured heavily for Great Britain in junior and youth teams for the last 2 or 3 years. He's also pretty strong on the back half, although he doesn't have a weak stroke. I think what we're seeing is the strength and dominance of a world-class senior swimmer here in Mark Sharanek out front.
Zach Loeb going well in 2 though, Alan. He's in second place. I certainly know that Callum Laurie in 4th place will come through the back end as well, and we've got Joel Thompson not that far out, so certainly a battle on probably for the 2nd and 3rd place, but Mark Sharanek, you say, well clear.
Putting down a marker, I think, for himself primarily, but for the final next week in Vegas, and also for the rest of his competitors. We'll be keeping an eye on what he's doing. Formerly from the University of Florida, where his head coach there is the head coach of those Cali Condors, so a nice link continuing for him. Of course, Mark now relocated to the University of Stirling program, where he swims with Callum Laurie, who's coming through very nicely there in lane number 6.
Yes, indeed, Alan. Callum's come from 4th or 5th into 3rd place, and he may be challenging Zach very shortly for that 2nd place. There's probably about 1.5 meters as Mark Sharanek comes down.
Less than a week ago, Mark was the Scottish record holder for this event, but his national team and university teammate Duncan Scott, and put paid to that in the record books with a superb 4:01 and 3:05 at this stage. May not just be quite fast enough to threaten that record, but Mark is not holding back here at all, and swimming this as a time trial as he is really not going to be a million miles away from that new mark set by Duncan last week. In fact, with a really strong last 50, this could be really close to setting a new mark. Anything close to 4 minutes on 4 AM short course for men really is world class, and Mark Schranek is going to be really close to that here.
Callum Lawrence had a very good second half, Alan. He's gone into second place, and Joe Thompson might even snatch third. Here comes Mark. Oh, what a cracking swim, 4:02.32. Well, he wasn't far off that 4:01.20. Callum Lawrie comes in, takes second, and very close for third. It was 100th between Zach and Joe. 4:13.92 for Zach, and Joe 4:13.93. So that was a cracking swim, as you say, from Mark Schranek.
Good performance from Angus Allison under 4:20 there. I know he's been in the hard training with his Warrender teammates. Be pleased with that, but that's a personal best time. Only Duncan Scott's time from last week has ever been faster than that by a Scottish male, and he swam that as a time trial. And
Angus Allison finishing in that race will be the junior champion in the men's 400. So our next event, we stick with 400. It's the women's B final. As you can see, the girls, that's the lineup. Elise Cousins from Perth City in lane number 1. Erin Taylor in 2 from Finns. Faye Donaghy, Borough of Stockton in 3. Emma Scully, City Glasgow in 4. City Glasgow's Katie McKenzie in 5. Ashley Bailey from the City of Sheffield in 6. Mary Craig, Stirling Swim in 7. Krista Wilson from Newcastle goes in lane 8. Well, this afternoon, the slower heats that we had Mary Craig 5:07.95. She from I think lane 2, a really cracking swim to get into this B final, and nice to see 15-year-old coming through very strongly in the afternoon and getting a swim this evening, Alan.
That's exactly why we have the split and the mirroring of events day by day, morning and afternoon, so that younger swimmers can make those steps forward, make that progress and get themselves a second swim, albeit they don't have the rest between the morning and the evening. But I don't think that'll make any difference here, because they'll be just so, Mary in particular, is so thrilled to make the final. She actually was the swimmer of the day at the senior bronze camp that we ran in Stirling in October. There was a male and a female swimmer of the day, and she, all judged by me in terms of attitude and application, and she was the standout winner on the female category of that. So she'll probably be a little bit tired after her efforts this afternoon, but nonetheless a superb achievement to get through. From a sporty family, her brother's a very good young rugby player for Stirling County, and she's carrying on that family tradition. Mum and Dad are very active, and she's doing well as part of the Stirling Swimming Club programme.
Certainly her mum was very pleased with her swims at the summer meet, and we come back to distance swimming. She's a very good distance swimmer as well.
She is, and I'm pleased that she is able to do both distance freestyle and 400 IM. Not escaping our notice, closest to us here in lane number 8, Krista Wilson, with a very, very strong 100 butterfly. She's about 5 or 6 metres ahead of everybody else over the first quarter of this race. Not familiar with her as a Newcastle swimmer. What I do know is that they're strong and they're tough, and their teammate Emily Large is the world junior champion on 200 butterfly, so it's not surprising that Krista is good on that stroke. She's being caught up quite significantly now by the girls in lanes 3, 4 and 5.
Yes, the gap's probably down to about half a metre now. Faye Donaghy from the Borough of Stockton. Lane 3's going well, as is in lane 4 Emma Scully. Emma Scully is certainly very strong on backstroke, So no surprise to see Emma coming through in this part of the IM. Katie McKenzie, her teammate in lane 5, she'll be flying when we get to the breaststroke section, Alan.
Yeah, she certainly will. The target for these girls will be to get as close as they can to 5 minutes, which is a good standard for them to aim for, senior or junior.
So 3 seconds cover the first 4, and we've seen the caption, Emma Scully's breaststroke's pretty good, but her teammate will come through very strongly in the breaststroke section. To the challenge, Faye Donaghy also going well in lane 3.
No surprise that the teams, the clubs who've featured strongly in these first events are the ones with the greatest work ethic. Sheffield, Ellesmere, from the Newcastle, from the clubs down south, and good that some of our Scottish swimmers have managed to feature in there as well. So hats off to them, doing a good job and leading the way at the moment. Faye McDonough from Sheffield going nice.
Yeah, she is going very well at this moment. Faye Donaghy.
My apologies, but I've stopped. My sincere apologies, getting my acronyms wrong.
6th at the Edinburgh International, the junior final here. So we're delighted to see Borough of Stockton, Newcastle, Tynemouth, Gateshead and Wickham, all of these clubs from the north east of England, and also some over in Cumbria coming up to support our events year after year. It gives our road swimmers an added challenge as well.
As I often tease their coaches, you know, if history had treated the border more kindly in our favour, they would be Scottish anyway.
Exactly.
So we consider them kindred spirits, that's for sure.
And that kindred spirit, Faye Donaghy well clear now. She's really sprinted about 6 or 7 clear. Emma Scully clear in second. And Faye 4:20, well, she's certainly going to be a few seconds inside that 5 minute mark, and that's, as you say, what you really want to do. If you've made the B final, you might be a little bit disappointed, but you get an opportunity to do what you maybe wanted to do in the morning, and just get your coach's instructions and get it right next time.
Get it right once in the 2 goes. Yeah, this is a really nice tidy swim. And youngsters, like many of these are, they're allowed to make mistakes, heats and finals. This is early season, and if you don't make a mistake, you don't learn from it. So whether it was a mispaced race, or whether it was just a lack of effort, or the skills not being good, that's okay. That's why you're here. You're here to race, and to race hard. But if you make a mistake, learn from it and move on, be better the next time.
Emma Scully second under the 5 minute, 4:59.23, and the youngster Erin Taylor from Finns, 5:03.45. Another youngster that's pretty good on IM.
Here come the big girls now in the A final.
So the ladies making their way onto poolside. So we have the delights of Hannah Miley swimming this evening. So in lane 1 we have Holly McGill from Heart of Midlothian. In lane 2 from South Lanarkshire is Yvonne Brown. 3 from Ellesmere College Titans, Mia Leach. In 4 from Aberdeen Performance, Hannah Miley. In 5 from Aberdeen Performance, Orla Adams. In 6 from Aberdeen Performance, Gaia Alcaraz. 7 from Heart of Midlothian, Ellie Riley. And in lane 8 from the city of Sheffield, Sophie Barker. This is the ladies 400 metres individual medley final. So Hannah Miley has always looked very impressive this morning in the heats. 4:41. Expect her to go a little bit faster than that this evening, Alan. It looked just a relaxed swim as you get from Hannah in the morning.
Yeah, she's marshalling her efforts very, very carefully at this meet, and indeed throughout the season. Her credentials and her experience and success in this event are really unparalleled, certainly in Scotland and the UK, and and largely across the world. So she's a very well kent face in this particular event, and will be looking almost as Mark Tronick did in the previous event, previous A final, set the standard really for everyone else to follow. I don't think anyone else, bar her teammate on this first 100, Gaia Alcaraz, who's in lane 6, will get anywhere close to her for the rest of the race.
Yvonne Brown also going pretty well in the butterfly section, over in lane 2. And, certainly the two girls from Aberdeen, Hannah and Gaia, turning 1-2. On the far side, third place Yvonne Brown and Mia Leach. It's just a marginal advantage by 1300ths at this stage, and you expect Hannah just to ramp it up a wee bit more now.
Yeah, it's not an exact science, but coaches will tend to look at short course times at this stage of the year and project what the swimmers can possibly do long course. Hannah's best time long course is in the low 430s, and she would typically be out in 62 high, 63 low, pretty much as she's done there. So if she can get down into the low 430s here, I think she and her coach and dad Patrick will be reasonably pleased with her evening's work. For the other girls, personal best times and swimming well obviously are the targets, but the race, if there is going to be a race, will be for those minor places. Hannah would tend to turn at the halfway mark on a long course event anywhere, depending on how hard she was pushing things, from 2:11 to 2:14. So if she's anywhere in that ballpark, then she'll be reasonably on track, and she's not going to be a million miles away from that here as she comes up to the halfway mark. There we go, turning in 2:13.6.
Alcaraz 2.5 seconds back, 2:16. The battle for the junior title is the Hearts Affair. Holly McGill over in lane 1 and Ellie Riley in lane 7, and that advantage at the moment with Holly McGill. Ellie Riley will come through strongly in the breaststroke section, so we'll just keep an eye on that as the race develops. But Orla Adams now getting herself into the picture in the breaststroke, and she's now challenging Gaia for that second place. Yvonne Brown also making a move over in lane 2.
Yvonne's a pretty good turner breaststroker and turner flyer in her own right, so those are her two strengths, and Orla also a tidy turner breaststroker in her own right, so as expected she's pushing past her teammate Gaia Alcaraz on this third stroke.
So you'd be looking for Hannah to be somewhere around about 3:32ish.
And I think she'll be faster than that. If she's under 3:30, that would just be about on pace for that sort of time. There we are, just
there we are, 3:28.85. Orla Adams gone into second. The race probably on for third place. Gaia Alcaraz just shades third by about 2/3 of a second. Turning roughly in about 60 seconds for that 25. So somewhere around 4:33, 4:34ish is probably a likely finish time or thereabouts, Alan.
Yeah, it's quite tough whenever you're swimming the race on your own like that, and Hannah, not too bad a 400 metres freestyler. She's having to do this on her own. When she swam the ISLs earlier in the season, she was up against many of her international rivals who are better short course swimmers than she is. So I think she's been around about 4:32 in that this season. So just going to be outside of that. But I think given how hard she's also been training, she'll be reasonably pleased with this.
There we are, 4:34.25. Orla Adams coming in second. Gaia Alcaraz third. Orla 4:42.54. Gaia 4:44.39. And Yvonne Brown 4:46.36. Significantly faster than they were this morning, and I think for both Yvonne and Gaia, that's probably PB short course for them at this stage. It'll be pretty close to that.
It certainly is for Gaia. I'm not sure about Orla. It'll be probably there or thereabouts. going back to what I said at the start, that rule of thumb of short course versus long course times at different stages of the season. If Hannah Miley goes 4:34 in the Olympic trials in London, she'll make the Olympic team, and I'm sure that fact won't be lost on her or Patrick, our coach, in terms of using that as a yardstick for what is possible. The best short course time is significantly quicker than that, which she did, I think, after the London Olympics in 2012, but the time itself is not so important. It's the progress that she's making through the season that I think is key. For the presentation now
for the men's 800. Yep. So you saw Stephen Milne get presented with the bronze medal, Tom Derbyshire with the silver, and the Scottish short course champion is Kieran Bird. Both these lads from Bath City, Stephen from Perth City. And the Scottish short course national champion, top Scot, is Stephen Milne from Perth City. And the teammate of him is Jack Munsey, who's the junior champion. Jack had a very good swim late this afternoon, Alan. Somewhere round about, I think it was about 8:17, 8:18, and nice improvement on his entry time of 8:25, and he had to take it out all from the front and work literally from start to finish, and just weakened a wee bit in the final stages, but that was understandable.
Apologies, Muncie went 3:53 for the 4 and a free to win the North District Open, and he's made really good progress this last couple of seasons, both on freestyle, and we'll see him later on in the men's 2 and a back final as well.
Yep. So the Amelia Rudd presented with the bronze medal. Silver medal goes to Lauren Murrow, both from Ellesmere College Titans, and the gold medalist, Scottish Open champion, is University of Stirling's Daniel Huskinson. Scottish champion is our top Scot, Lauren Murrow, in second place there, so she's our Scottish champion. And our junior champion, she just failed to break 9 minutes behind Katie Taylor is in the last heat, 9:00:05. She had a super swim, Kaelin Hall. She's the junior champion.
She is, although that isn't her taking the medal, that's one of her teammates. No. She's got other priorities coming up later on in the session, clearly. It's a bit disappointing when people don't come for the medals, I have to say. I'm a bit of a stickler for you've earned it, so you should come and collect it. Which won't endear me to some of the coaches who see performance as being more important, but I'm a traditionalist at heart when it comes to these things. It's a Scottish Championship. You won the medal, you should go and collect it.
Yeah. So we have our B final of the 100 free for the men. Ben Martin is in lane 1 from University of Stirling. Joel Thompson, Ellesmere College Titans. Carl Boyack, University of Stirling 3. Harry Stacey from Shivers in 4. Lawrence Veeremans from University of Stirling 5. Adam Metcalf, Ellesmere College Titans 6. Chris Muir, City Glasgow University in 7. And Jack Sharanek, University of Stirling in 8. Well, 3 swimmers were under the 50-minute mark in the heats.
An excellent start from Ben Martin out in lane 1. Nicely up off the start, but setting the pace as you would expect from the seeding. Harry Stacey.
Jack Sharanek going pretty well in 8, also well there. Harry Stacey though, the early leader, 23.22. Jack Sharanek 23.50. Looks like Stacey has this under control, Alan.
Yeah, Jack Sharanek, like his brother, studying currently at the University of Florida, keeping up the family tradition, and pretty good around the walls as you'd expect for somebody who competes yards most of the season.
And Stacey takes that in 48.75. Veeremans 49.67, 49.69 for Joel Thompson. That was a pretty convincing victory, 48.75, almost a second.
Yeah, he's got really good skills, Harry Stacey. That's a nice swim, and he'll be rueing the fact that he didn't make it into this A final, which is now coming up. That time would have comfortably put him into one of the centre lanes had he done it this morning.
Yep. So moving on to the A final, and we have Stephen Mill, who's back having just done an 800. So he goes in lane 1. Callum Jarvis from Bath goes in 2. Scott McLeay, University of Stirling, 3. Craig McLean, University of Stirling in 4. Martin Walton, University of Stirling in 5. Callum Cole from Bath in 6. Callum Bain from the University of Stirling in 7. And Thomas Flower from Richmond Dale in lane 8. And Craig McLean 48.36. Roughly about 0.2 faster in the heats from Martin Walton.
So, battle of the universities here, Stirling versus Bath. We'll see that quite a lot over the weekend, I'm sure.
Very level start there. Craig McLean maybe just shades it at the moment. Also well there in lane 7. It's Callum Bain.
Callum has the best 50-metre best time of this group. He's not so shabby on the 100. It's certainly no surprise that he's out fastest at the 50 mark. This is going to be one of those throw the blanket over the field races, I think, at the finish. We've got some strong finishers coming through now. Craig McLean, as expected, the fastest seed in lane number 4.
And Craig McLean looks strongest down the final stretch. McLean looks good to take this now, Alan. It's McLean from McLeay, I think. Craig McLean 47.73, Scott McLeay 48.05, and Martin Walton 48.24 takes third. So it's the University of Stirling 1, 2, 3 in that one.
And for the youngsters, their parents and coaches watching, great to see Craig McLean put his head down for the last 6 or 7 metres. No breathing inside the red zone and getting his hand on the wall very, very quickly. That's a nice swim from him. He'll be pleased, a big smile on his face as he makes his way under the lane ropes.
So we move on to the women's equivalent now. This is the B final. Karen Lewitt-Matari goes in 1. Edinburgh University swimmers in 2 through to 6. They are Juliet Cassini in 2, Katie Roberts in 3, Sophie Smith 4, Rachel Masson 5, Monique Olivier in 6, Evelyn Davis Bromley in 7, Sophie Lewis Ward, Edinburgh University in lane 8.
If the last race was a Stirling Bath tussle, this is the Edinburgh University Club Championships, I think.
Just about, yeah.
You look at the next final as well. We've got 3 swimmers in that too. It's a great strength and depth on this women's 100 metres freestyle. Not all freestylers, it has to be said.
Yeah, you wouldn't classify Katie Robertson as a freestyler, but she's a pretty good all-rounder, Alan.
She is. She's a good sprinter, a good on flying breaststroke, and of course, having said all of that, pretty good medley swimmer too.
She's also not got that bad a scabby butterfly as well.
Yeah. Well, she's the fastest 50 flyer in Scotland at the moment.
So Sophie Smith, it just shades it at the moment in lane 4. It's Mitchell Masson in 5, but Sophie Smith maybe a wee bit disappointed not to get into that A final.
If I'm allowed to say so, I'm a bit disappointed she didn't make the A final either. She's certainly capable of racing with the best of the top 8 swimmers who actually made it, and the 1 or 2 people in there who have no right to be in ahead of a swimmer with the ability of Sophie Smith. So she's trying to put that right here. A little bit sloppy into the walls. Nice coming off.
Nice strong off the wall there, Alan, and looks as though she's just going to hold on by maybe half a metre. Mitchell Masson and Juliet Cassini. No, not quite. It was Juliet that got second just ahead of Rachel with Sophie Smith, 55.58. Nice one from her.
It's certainly progress on this morning, yep. She's certainly evidence of what we said earlier about first semester move to university. And she's a very clever girl, Sophie. A lot of academic demands, I'm sure, on her, as well as adjusting to life away from home and a new coach. So, not her best time, but I think it's an improvement from this morning, which is what the coach, Matt Trodden, will be looking for, and I'm sure there's much better things to come from Sophie, either this weekend and certainly through the rest of the season.
So we move on to the A final. Katie Stark from Aberdeen Performance in 1, Emma Russell, Artemis Lorien in 2, Faye Anderson, Ellesmere College Titans 3, Lucy Hope, Edinburgh University in 5, Catherine Greenslade, Edinburgh University, in 4, Catherine Greenslade in 5, Edinburgh University, Georgia Coates, Bath in 6, Tane Bruce, Edinburgh University 7, and Emily Large, Newcastle in lane number 8.
I wonder who the favourite for this one is. She's used to being top of the podium, she's used to getting her hand onto the wall first, and Freya Anderson certainly will be the one to watch here in lane number 3.
Yeah, certainly just did enough to qualify. She was well under control in the heats.
She had such a tough racing schedule last weekend. I think we may forgive her a relatively controlled heat this morning, but I don't think there'll be any of that here in this final. Already stretching herself out, the tallest swimmer in the race, and certainly using that to full effect in and out of the walls here. She'll be pressed hard by Lucy Hope.
Yeah, Lucy Hope will give her a race. She'll certainly try to give her a race, but at the halfway mark, we've got about quarter of a second opened up, and Faye Anderson still with half a metre advantage as we reach the final turn. Lucy Hope's the only one that's sticking anywhere near her.
She has gone 53 this season already. Freya's really strong on that last 25, but she can't shake Lucy off, and this is going to be a good time. The 3.2 for Lucy is a good swim. 52.5, a shade off what Freya did to win last week, but again, the class of the field.
Just clearing 53.26 for Lucy Hope is a new Scottish short course record for Lucy Hope, so she was being dragged along by Freya, so that's a big benefit having Freya here.
Oh, no question, usually Lucy sets the pace domestically here, so she did exactly the right thing, sat on Freya's hips for as long as she could, and that was a long standing record. It's given us a wee wave there. She comes out, delighted with her evening's performance. A big thumbs up from us in the commentary box. She'll be delighted with that.
54.87, Emma Russell, 5th, and she's the junior champion, and that's a cracking swim. I was speaking to her dad earlier on. She was wondering, when am I ever going to get under a minute? Well, she's actually got under 55 seconds now, so
we shouldn't escape the fact that that's a Scottish junior record, and these things are important too, and nicely done by her and Evie Davis, who was in the B final, have been vying with each other over the last few months. Just searching for the stats on Emma's time.
85 or 87 junior record for Scottish junior record for Emma. So we're just making sure everybody up here is aware of 2 records, Alan. It doesn't often happen. It's like the number 22 bus there come around at the same time.
Yeah, it's like wedding invitations. I got 2 on the one day. I haven't had any for ages.
So presentations, 400 IM. Angus Allison gets his medal as the junior champion. But, it was Zach Logue in 3rd place, Callum Laurie, silver medalist, and Matt Sharanek, the gold medalist in the 400 IM. It's also nice to see Angus Allison continuing that development. As you see, under 420 today, so
making nice progress at Warrender, coached by Kostas Kalitsis, and we should pay tribute to his previous coach, Joanna Anderson at Inverleith, who did a really nice job in getting Angus to the point where he was ready to move on to Warrender, and on all 4 strokes he's making really nice progress.
So Guy Alcaraz, bronze medalist for the ladies 400 IM, Orla Adams, silver medalist. And Scottish National Open champion, once again Hannah Miley from Aberdeen Performance. Junior champion from Harton Midlothian, Ellie Riley. Another thing, Alan, you see swimmers who go through some rough patches, and it's good to see Ellie Riley. She's had a bad sort of 6 months or so, but good to see her on that podium as the junior champion this year.
It is. I had a little chat with her earlier on just to see how she was doing, and she's positive and happy and eager to continue to keep making that progress. So yeah, delighted for her. And yeah, it's been tough. It's tough for kids at various stages of their career, and as long as they persevere through, they're resilient enough to overcome the setbacks, then we're delighted to see them back on and making progress.
B final, the men's 50 breast. Ross Young, Stephen Taylor, Morgan Berryman, Kyle Boyack, George Clough, Joel Thompson, Yusuf Batouf, and Ewan Leslie. Well, George Clough back in the pool again in 5.
400 IM was obviously just a little primer for his 50 breaststroke.
So the men's 50 breaststroke B final, Ross Young in 1, Stephen Taylor in 2, Morgan Berryman in 3.
So not much between 3 of them at the turn. Clough in 5, Boyack 4, Berryman in 3. Well, this is anybody's, even in lane 8 we've got Ewan Leslie coming through very strongly. I think in lane 5 is George Clough just to take it. Well, I did call it right, Alan, but it's a dead heat. George Clough 28.68, and right beside him Joel Thompson 28.68, Morgan Berryman 28.98.
I think George will be pleased that was actually a final and there's no swim off having done the 400.
Exactly, yeah. So we move on to the A final. Another swimmer who's back in the pool in lane 1 is Rory Dixon from University of Stirling. Aaron Dolan, Adrian Muntlands goes in 2. Zach Aitchison in 3, University of Stirling. Ross Murdoch in 4, and Craig Benson 5, also from University of Stirling. Daniel Lim, Edinburgh University is 6. Max Hagan from City of Glasgow in 7, and Joe O'Halloran for Derwentside in lane 8. Now Ross Murdoch, Craig Benson yet again up against one another.
Indeed they are. Ross just missed his own Scottish record last weekend in Glasgow by I think 3 100ths. Spoke to him this morning and this evening. Clean shaven this evening, so maybe that'll take care of those hundredths that he needs to break his own record.
So appeared to be a nice clean start. Good start from Murdoch, Alan there.
Yeah, good start from him, and also from Zach Aitchison.
Off the turn, it's nip and tuck between the two of them. Murdoch maybe just shading it. Craig Benson with a determined late challenge, but Murdoch has the better of them. It's Murdoch, Aitchison and Benson. 26-26. Well, that's another Scottish record for Ross Murdoch. You did say that shaving he's done, might well do it, and he does it tonight. 26-26. That
Losing
22,
prepared, it always works.
yeah, that 22 bus is coming round pretty regularly now.
Absolutely. And you know, we can hear the commentator in the arena, Duncan, making note of that. And I think it's really important that we recognise standards are continued to improve. It may be some of the same people who are setting them, but if you're doing faster than you've ever done before at this stage of the season, which is the short course season, then that shows that progress has been made by the individuals and by the programmes and by the sport. And setting national records, whilst there are just so many at the moment, has to be a positive sign for Scottish swimming, that male and female across the strokes, people are setting new standards, and that youngsters are aspiring. The Emma Russells and the youngsters across the sport are trying to achieve what they can in the future by setting new marks. We've got Katie Shanahan in Japan at the moment, with the British team on a training camp, which is a real tough ask for her. And we've got Katie Goodburn not here because she's in Canada with a joint British, English, Scottish junior team at the Ontario International, swimming later on this evening in her final. So really good progress being made, and great, delighted for Ross in this Olympic season to continue to set new marks.
This will be final of the women's 50 breast. Kristen Harvey, Tamara McGregor, Mia McAllister, Amelia Rygut, Jenna Dougal, Amber Owen, Anna Hutchison and Iona Trainer.
A lot of youngsters in this race, which is nice to see. Some 14-year-olds. Oldest lady in the group is Annie Hutchison from Shetland, now swimming at Edinburgh University.
Well, at the turn it appeared to me Amelia Rygut in 4, but they're all coming back now. It's anybody's race here. Amelia, I think, just going to shed this one in 4. In 6 is Amber Owen, I think, in 2nd. Well, Jenna Dougal got 2nd place in 5, but Amelia Rygut 32.76, Jenna Dougal 33.07 in 5, and 2nd place Amber Owen 33.11 from lane 6. So now on to the women's breaststroke A final. Summer's coming poolside, and we start off in lane 1 with Jasmine Smith, Edinburgh University, Maya Hall, Ellesmere College Titans in 2, Rachel Taylor, Newcastle in 3, Edinburgh University's Cara Hanlon in 4 and Katie Robertson in 5, Anna Miley, Aberdeen Performance in 6, Amy Watson from Inverclyde in 7, and she's barring any disaster, she'll be the junior champion in this one. Bridget Lemezurier from East Lothian Swim Team in lane 8. This is the women's 50 metre breaststroke final. It should be an interesting one between Cara and Katie Robertson. Oh, you can never discount Hannah Miley from any event, Alan.
No, although she would certainly not favour a 50 on any stroke. I think the two favourites are the ones in lanes 4 and 5, Cara Hanlon, Katie Robertson, who we've just seen, dripping wet from the 100 freestyle. An excellent start from Katie Robertson, using her height and length to full advantage there off the blocks. Cara with the faster rate. Hannah is there, but she's not up with the leaders at the moment. Cara Hanlon, faster, shorter, more powerful stroke, and this is going to be a good swim from her.
And Cara Hanlon takes that in 30.86, only 1500ths off the Scottish record held by Corey Scott. Katie Robertson somewhere behind, just shows you how good a swim it was from Cara. 31.62, and Rachel Taylor 32.03 in 3rd place. A nice strong swim there from Cara.
Since Corey Scott, the national record holder, retired following the Commonwealth Games last year, Cara has really seized the initiative in breaststroke swimming, female breaststroke swimming in Scotland, short course and long course, setting herself as the person to beat. Katie Robertson will certainly be one of those attempting to do that, as both a teammate at Edinburgh and a teammate on the Scottish national team. So presentations.
back to the bottom end for the presentations of the men's 100 freestyle. So University of Stirling 1, 2, 3. Bronze medalist is Martin Walton. Silver medalist is Scott McClay. And the Scottish National Open champion, Craig McLean. Cracking swim from Craig to take that. And nice to see Cameron Allison coming in to get his medal as the top junior swimmer.
He had a good swim in the 400 IM earlier on today. It's a pretty decent range from 100 free to 400 IM in a day's work.
One more presentation should follow on. That'll be the ladies 100 freestyle, I think. Just have a look down the far side. And they make their way onto the podium now. Catherine Greenslade, Edinburgh University, the bronze medalist.
That's not her, of course. Catherine will be swimming in the 200 backstroke coming up soon.
Lucy Hope in that new Scottish record in second place. Gold medalist is Free Anderson, Scottish Open champion, and the Scottish National champion will be Lucy Hope. 53.26, that new Scottish record she set. And another record holder will join her on the podium, the Scottish junior champion. Also in a new junior record from Hartlepool Lorien, Emma Russell. I think it was 54.85 or 87. 87. Yeah. Lucy Hope almost dwarfed there. So back to the other end of the pool. And it's backstroke. That's the B final. Samuel Naylor from Newcastle in 1, Alfie Scott, Newcastle in 2. Jordan McPhail, Natari from London in 3. Joseph Martin, Newcastle 4. Adam Wilson, Newcastle 5. Tony Joe Trent Oliver, University of Stirling in 6. Conor Massey, City Glasgow 7. Pietro Vitali, Atari in lane number 8. So almost a wee Newcastle battle again, club champs in this one. 4 Newcastle swimmers go in this B final.
As we said earlier, it's great to see our northeast and northwest colleagues coming up to take part in the Scottish Short Course Championships. They are very familiar faces to us, not just at this short course event but at the Edinburgh International Swim Meet, which we should mention coming up next March as part of the build up to the Olympic Trials British Championships in London in April. Get yourselves along to support and spectate at that Edinburgh International Swim Meet here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool.
13th, 14th, 15th, I think every date's Alan, so keep that in your diary, folks.
And just to keep our West colleagues happy, the Glasgow International Swim Meet the last weekend of May will also be very well populated with swimmers from across the UK and hopefully beyond.
Yeah, hopefully I've got my dates right for that one. That's the 24th, 25th and 26th of April, Alan.
Very well remembered. Good strong swim here in lane number 2 from Alfie Scott, one of the 4 Newcastle swimmers that you mentioned. quite impressed with the way he's attacking the wall. Last weekend we saw swimmers in men's and women's 200 backstroke making full use of the 15 metres that are allowed underwater. With some of these younger and slightly slower swimmers, then they tend not to go as far. And in fact, Alfie, although swimming well, is decreasing the amount of distance he's going off the wall on every turn. This is one of the reasons why the field's coming back at him now.
Yeah, very much in this short course season, if you can get that backstroke, and it was noticeable when someone getting 12-13 metres off the wall, you don't have to do much swimming after that.
No, and since the underwater work was introduced, it's been a big feature of successful backstroke swimming. Just managed to hold on there, Alfie. I was maybe doing him a bit of a disservice by saying they were coming back at him, because he did enough just to hang on, but certainly something for him and Ryan Livingston, his coach, to work on in terms of his maintaining his underwater work, which was good at the start of the race all the way through all 8 laps.
So that concludes the B final. We move on to A final. So the swimmers just making their way onto the pool deck in lane 1. Keir Edgar from City Glasgow. And 2, Mark Ford, City Glasgow. And 3, Perry Gardner, University of Stirling. Craig McNally, University of Stirling in 4. Duncan Scott, University of Stirling in 5. Jonah Adam, Ellesmere College Titans in lane 6. In 7, Jack Munsey from Perth City, and Lewis Maxwell, Derwentside in 8. Well, two races within a race here. Mark Ford and Jack Munsey in lanes 2 and 7 will be fighting out for the junior title. So that could be an interesting one.
Yeah, well, we mentioned Jack Munsey earlier because of that good 800 freestyle that he did this afternoon. But he's also a very accomplished backstroker.
Indeed.
And has been under 2 minutes already this season, not too far away from that Scottish junior record. Mark Ford, I think that was his best time in the heats to get into this final, and certainly they're far apart, so they'll not be seeing each other in the race, but attempting obviously to get their hands on the wall ahead of each other for that junior title.
So this could be very intriguing. McNally,
McNally, the only one under 2 minutes. Duncan Scott in lane number 5. Will certainly push him as much as he can.
Yeah, he's quite versatile, that young man.
Yes, indeed.
Does he know it?
At this early stage, it's just a minor advantage. McNally, Scott, Gardner and Adam in the middle lanes. And Mark Ford going better than Jack Munsey's got about a second advantage. Lanes 2 and 7. Ford in 2, Munsey in 7. Off that turn, now advantage almost a body length for McNally as we reach halfway, Alan.
Craig McNally has threatened that Scottish record a couple of times in his career, and 54.86. Well, that's going to be within touching distance for him if he can bring this back strongly. And Duncan Scott, with that big race load last weekend, certainly trying out some different things this weekend, and I know he'll have wanted to push Craig McNally hard, but Craig's a little bit out of touch, I think, at the moment, and that Scottish record is very much still on at the 122.73 150 split. In fact, Vincent, I guess that he's going to smash that Scottish record. That's a really impressive swim out front from Craig McNally. Super swim. He'll be close to breaking 150 here, if I'm honest.
He's certainly flying down the final stretch. 155, 145. Yeah, this is yet another one. 150.57, almost just over a second. That's another Scottish record this evening. So Craig McNally, 150.71 is the adjusted time on the board. So he's taken 0.95 off that record. Now that's going back this part of 18 years.
You don't remind me. Yeah, I coached him when he was 10. Gregor will be delighted to see that record smashed, because it's one of the longest standing male records in the book, and Craig, as I said before, has threatened it a number of times and has been in good form in this Olympic season, and whilst I wouldn't suggest that he'll go 150 to smash the world record by doing that long course, the advantage on backstroke with the underwater work is significant. That's a very, very pleasing and encouraging swim from Craig McNally out in front. He was never really headed throughout the whole race, and he'll be delighted with that. Duncan will be pretty happy with 154 as well. But 150.7, that would have featured pretty strongly last weekend in Glasgow for those European Championships.
And Mark Ford 2:00:08. Finishing in 6th place. Jack Munsey 2:04:06. Jack will probably be a wee bit disappointed with that, but he did have a good 800, and maybe just that last 200 or 300 has taken a wee bit extra out of him. Maybe not had a chance to fully recover for this evening, having swam probably around about 4 o'clock or thereabouts, 3:30, 4 o'clock. So
I think yes, he'll be disappointed with the time, but quite frankly, he's got a busy schedule over the weekend, and as an age group swimmer, swimming lots, learning lots, that's what he and his coach Ann Dixon will be looking for. He'll be disappointed at not going faster. His season's personal best was under 2 minutes, I think, but he'll come back, he'll get a rest and get some food in him tonight, and he'll come back just as strong tomorrow.
So on to the women's current now. This is the B final. Francesca Whiting from Ellesmere College Titans in 1, Anna Slater, Newcastle 2, Madison Pelvier from Derwentside in 3, Cassie Wild, University of Stirling in 4, Alice Shields, City Glasgow 5, Lotte Dupin, University of Stirling in 6, Holly McGill, Heart of Midlothian 7, Caitlin Duffy, Edinburgh University, goes in lane number 8. I'm sure Cassie Wild will be a wee bit disappointed she didn't get into that A final, Alan, but she'll want to make amends in the B final. She's gone up pretty strongly already.
Yeah, well, she's another one of those where I can step out of my neutral commentary and say I'm disappointed she didn't make the final either. She's gone 2:08 this season, which is her personal best time, a very big personal best time, and certainly she's going to have to do it the hard way here out in front. She's going to have to tough it out. And she is out 61.86. That should be sufficient for her to keep working hard and do her best time. But it's tough out front whenever you're doing that. She's certainly better known as a 50 and 100 metre swimmer. But this is good practice, good work for her as she aims to make the final of the Olympic trials and threaten some people to get onto that Olympic team for the women's 100 backstroke spot. Stroke rate has dropped significantly here. You're keeping an eye on the split. She was out in 61.86, much slower into that wall, and it's beginning to hurt now for Cassie Wild.
Lotte Dupin in second. Ellis Shields having moved from M&B over to City of Glasgow just a few months ago, going pretty well in third. Another promising youngster on the backstroke, Alan.
Yeah, she's made a good move, doing well. Cassie's going to just hold on to win this, but she's going to be outside her seasons and personal best time. She would have benefited from being in that final, although that's a big improvement from this morning's heats. It's not really a swim that she'll be particularly pleased with, I'm sure. She looked great for 100 metres, and then the wheels came off a wee bit there, and she blowed pretty hard after that. I'm not surprised.
So we move on to our A final. So a couple of interesting juniors as well in this one. In one of the juniors, Ellie Turner from Carnegie, National Age Group Champion. Pia Murray, Ellesmere College Titans in 2. Mary Daly from Middlesbrough in 3. Catherine Greenslade from Edinburgh University in 4. Nice to see Jennifer King over from Missouri in lane 5, swimming for South Lanarkshire. Kathleen Dawson, University of Stirling in 6. Rachel Saunders, another very good youngster from Wonderbass in 7, and Holly Houghton from Taunton Dean, then lane 8. So lanes 1 and 7 will be vying for the junior title. It's a question of Catherine Greenslade, can Jennifer King or Kathleen Dawson put in a big challenge in this one.
National record holder, of course, is Kathleen Dawson. She hasn't done that many 200s, short or long course for a wee while, focusing more on the sprint distances, but she is the short course national record holder for this event, and certainly if she's on form could get close to threatening that. But a little bit of swimming lineage in this final. Holly Hudson, daughter of Neil, Commonwealth Games finalist on 200 breaststroke way back when. Rachel Saunders from Warrender in lane number 7. Her mum was a very accomplished backstroker in her own right a couple of years ago. Kathleen Dawson is really effective on the underwater work, as we can see there, and she'll be using it hopefully to good effect for all 8 lengths. Catherine Greenslade is a freestyle and backstroke specialist. She made the final of this event at the not the most recent European short course, but the previous one, so she's a pretty good swimmer on this course and distance.
Kathleen Dawson sticking with her at the moment. It's Catherine Greenslade just with about half a metre advantage coming towards the halfway mark. Jennifer King between them, not that far off the pace either.
No, Jennifer is over, as you said, because this championship is a week later due to last weekend's Europeans, and it's great to see her here. She swims at the University of Missouri and is certainly threatening to be back on the national team this summer and beyond. Just a wee bit out of touch here. Look for Kathleen Dawson to spring a really strong last 50. Battle of the juniors.
Ellie Turner has that advantage by about 3 metres at the moment, roughly about second and a half, but the action at the front, Catherine Greenslade still maintains about a metre or so advantage, and she looks to start a little bit stronger now, Alan.
She does indeed. That's very effective underwater 10 metres from Catherine Greenslade, picking up her stroke rate under pressure from Kathleen Dawson and Jennifer King, but she's going to hold on.
Greenslade takes it. Oh, it's tight. Oh, I think Jennifer King might have just got second. Oh, well, the scoreboard shows Kathleen Dawson 209.56. What you sometimes get on these finishes, gentle touch, and it was a gentle touch, and that's why the board didn't show 208.73. Jennifer King takes silver. A good swim from all 3 girls though, Alan.
It was, and Ellie Turner winning the junior battle. Rachel Saunders swimming just pretty much on what she did this morning, which was her best time, so nice backing up from her. That's a short course PB, I'm sure, for Jennifer King. She'll be pleased with her effort after the transatlantic flight. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, anything probably under 210 would have been probably a PB for her, and that's under 2.9, so she'll be delighted with that.
She will be.
And 211.89, well, pretty close to 212, under 212 for Ellie Turner, 16-year-old from Carnegie. Cracking swim from her.
1 or 2 adjustments to the times there, so Kathleen Dawson just getting second place.
Yeah, in fact, 208.66 for Kathleen Dawson, Jennifer King 208.73. Adjusted time for Ellie Turner, 211.04, Alan.
Yeah, these girls obviously just stretching for the wall, perhaps not applying enough pressure onto the pad. That's why that adjustment was made.
Yeah. Maybe I should throw in some technical information, Alan, as a referee, especially on backstroke. If you don't hit the pad hard enough, we do have the facility of using the backup button, which would be used as a second time, and we also have stopwatches, which will also be used to confirm that touch or the backup button if that is used. So there's additional backups that can be used to insert the correct time.
chairman of the board of management for Scottish Swimming, Graham Marchbank, making these presentations. Men's 50 metres breaststroke, featuring of course that new national record from Ross Murdoch.
So Craig Benson, bronze medalist, Zach Aitchison, silver, and at 26.26 for Ross Murdoch, a new Scottish record. And nice to see Marius Gringelis from Bellshill Sharks taking the junior title on.
Again, great progress being made by that small club in the west of Scotland, producing swimmers year after year, going on to bigger and better things. So great work there by Scott Warnock.
He does a super job over there. Another good swimmer he has, Greg Fairbairn, who's been performing pretty well today. I don't think he's appearing this evening, but we would expect him maybe to get into a B final over the weekend. As we move on to the girls' women's breaststroke. Rachel Taylor was the bronze medalist. Katie Robertson, silver medalist. And the Scottish National Open champion is Cara Hanlon from Edinburgh University. And Amy Watson from Inverclyde is the Scottish Junior champion. Inverclyde, very useful, producing some cracking breaststroke swimmers, Alan.
Indeed, you're talking to one of them. No, I'm kidding. My part of the world, of course, and the club went through some hard times until Shirley Reeford took over a number of years ago, and she's really done well building them and back up to the point of where they have got some swimmers regularly winning national titles and making national squads. So well done to her, well done to Amy.
So on to the men's butterfly, 50 butterfly, B final. Mark Elrick in 1, Oscar Smiley 2, Conor McNeil 3, Chris Muir 4, Ben Card 5, Adam Metcalf 6, Jack Sharanek 7 and Carl Smith in lane 8. So a strong start from Conor McNeil in 3, Alan.
Starts and turns so important on all of the 50 events, and when you have 15 metres allowed underwater from both, then you really need to take advantage of them.
Looks like Conor McNeil is probably going to do that as he just takes that 24.79. Very close for second. Chris Muir, I think, second, 24.85. Adam Metcalf, 24.98 in third place. So on to our A final. We have in lane 1. We have Grant Henderson, City of Glasgow. In lane 2, Tom Bailey, Plymouth Leander. Nice to see Tom Bailey up here for the weekend on. Harry Stacey from Shrivers in 3. Callum Bain, a trio of University of Stirling swimmers. 5, Scott McClay, and 6, Eddie Rednick. Gregor Swinney from the City of Glasgow goes in 7. Jonathan C. from Edinburgh University in lane 8. So this is the makings of Cracker, Callum Bain and Scott McClay. Scott McClay having had the 100 free earlier on. It's probably just a warm-up for this one.
Oh, for sure, and it's not unusual for these guys, particularly short course, to multi-event on a short meet like this. There's only 3 days, so it's inevitable that there'll be some clashes of events, and in their case 100 free, 50 flies, a pretty common double to do. So Callum Bain got a great start on the 100 free, as did Harry Stacey, and not surprisingly both of them and Scott McClay very much in the mix at the moment.
Bain maybe just with the edge on that turn. Here comes McClay back at him. It's nip and tuck here. It's going to be an attached McClay maybe. Bain McClay, oh, it's on the touch. It was on the touch. 23.59, 23.61. Bain just takes that from McClay. And Harry Stacey 24.14. Just a question where that wall was going to finish and where the arms were going to come over and hit it.
You've got to get it right, you've got to measure that distance. You've only got so many strokes you can take. You've got to make sure that you're hitting it exactly on the apex of the stroke, and that's what can win you the medals, that can win you the races, can win you the championships if you get it right.
So we move on to the last of our events, individual events. This is women's B final for the 50 fly. Yvonne Brown in 1, Alice Meldrum 2, Katie Tulloch 3, Amy Hutchison from 4 in 4, Kathleen Dawson, University of Stirling 5, Mia McAllister, Edinburgh University in 6, Anya Stresser, Aberdeen Performance 7, Melody Jones, Borough of Stockton goes in 8. Well, our twin sister was swimming earlier on, and she's at Edinburgh University. Amy Hutchison 3 in Glasgow, swimming at City Glasgow.
Doing well. I spoke to their dad. It sounds like I just talked to everybody all day, but just strictly one of the roles at a meet like this. But they were both sort of falling out of love with swimming a wee bit when they left Shetland, but rekindled their desire and their love of the sport, and Mum and Dad, Leslie and Malcolm, are delighted that the girls have settled into uni, still swimming and still swimming well.
Yeah, my youngsters actually was sharing with Amy down at the Bucks University, and they had a great weekend, so good to see Amy performing, and she might just sneak this one, going well in lane 4. Katie Tulloch giving a good charge, but it's lane 2 I think that maybe just snatched that to the death. Alice Meldrum, cracking swim from Alice, 28.30, and she's shaking the two girls over on the far side, both from East Kilbride, swimming for South Lanarkshire, Yvonne Brown and Alice Meldrum. Yvonne Brown in fact second, 1-2.
They'll be delighted, not noted for the sprinting, it has to be said, East Kilbride, but Alice and Yvonne finishing the programme, the individual programme nicely for that club this evening.
Amy's having to settle for third, but she'll be pleased with that anyway. As we move on to our final ladies event this evening, it's the A final of the 50 butterfly. Harriet Rogers, Darlington in 1, Katie Robertson, University of Stirling, Edinburgh University in 2, Kiana McInnes, University of Stirling in 3, Tane Bruce, Edinburgh University 4, Lucy Grieve, South Ayrshire 5, Yasmin Perry, Aberdeen Performance in 6, in 7, Isabel Grant, City of Sheffield, and in lane 8 we have Emma Russell from Heart of Midlothian.
No, it's all about records, but certainly I think the junior record held by Anna Fleming, 27.11, might get a rattling here.
It's under threat, yeah. Lucy Grieve has been swimming not just butterfly but backstroke, freestyle, just about everything very, very effectively this last year or so on, and this is probably her event of butterfly by a long way, but like Katie Robertson, another good all-rounder, and she's off to a good start in this one. Well, Tane Bruce has got her work cut out in this one. Lucy Grieve, Tane Bruce, Lucy Grieve might upset them here. It's Lucy Grieve who's going to take this. Lucy Grieve takes this in 26.69, and that is a new Scottish junior record. Well, we did think there was a chance. We didn't think she'd win this, but there we are. 26.69. She won it by quite some margin, quarter of a second, 26.94. Canna McInnes third, 27.03.
Nicely utilising the 15 metres allowed underwater, great off the start. Spotted the turn on the right stroke, very effective off the turn underwater, and again hit the wall on perfect stroke, so it all went together very nicely there for Lucy Grieve. The whistling that you would have heard on the sound effects is her coach, Byron Sterica. He is the whistling coach. There's no one could quite compete with Byron when it comes to having his swimmers hear him give them cues and signals, and he'll be delighted with that. That's a big PB for her, and takes down a record, a very good record from Anna Fleming from just a few years ago, so making progress, as I've been saying all evening.
And Byron is, we saw anyway at the end of the race, giving a big clap to his swimmer. So over to medal presentations. 200 backstroke. Duncan Scott getting a silver medal there. Craig McNally in that new record, 50.71.
Teammates delighted for him there, that's great to see. Duncan, one of the best swimmers, not just in Britain, Scotland and Europe, but very humble and great support there for his teammate Craig McNally in smashing that long-standing Scottish record.
Matt Ford, the junior champion. So lots of records have already gone this evening. I think that's about 5.
Yeah.
We're going to lose count here, Alan.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's a good sign. We're not really keeping tabs on things because that's for after the meet, but it's an indication of good progress being made, of new standards being set. And not all senior records and not all by the familiar faces, although that has partly been the case. It's good to see the junior records go, because that means that we've got a reasonable flow of potential in the male and female junior ranks.
Well, Jennifer King getting the bronze medal just a moment ago. Kathleen Dawson just held off that late challenge as silver medalist. And the Scottish Open champion, Catherine Greenslade. However, the Scottish national champion is Kathleen Dawson from University of Stirling. And Ellie Turner from Carnegie. Usual to see her in yellow, and normally she's got that black top on.
Indeed, cutting a dash there in the green suit and the yellow t-shirt.
So a bit of fun to finish with, Alan. It's the men's 4x50 medley relay. We don't just have 2 heats, we have 3 heats to look forward to. And there'll be junior titles up for grabs in this one as well.
Fast and furious, I'm expecting, from all of these heats and all of these teams. We can see out in front of us a mass of swimmers waiting to take part in this men's and then the women's medley team. Traditionally, the medley relays close all of the major championships. Really exciting way to close Europeans, Olympics, World Championships, and here we have them on the first evening. Great way to finish.
So this one has 6 teams. Durham City in 2, First in 3, O'Gine Bearsden in 4, East Lothian in 5, Dumfries 6, and Heart of Midlothian in lane 7. So junior teams in 3, 5 and 6 in this one. But for a lot of these, it's all for a bit of fun, the earlier heats, and getting an opportunity for some of the clubs to get a swim and experience the thrill of swimming at the Scottish Short Course. And first out very strongly. Alistair Finlay for them. Yes.
Close attention to the level with the start-finish wall, and paying really close attention to the changeovers, the relay changeovers. And if I was grading that first lot, I would barely give them a C-. It's really an opportunity to practice fast changeovers. I know getting disqualified is not desirable, but really swimmers and their coaches have got to work on those skills. You get medals for relays at Olympic Games as well as for individual events, and one of the ways in which you can steal some time, if that's the right expression, is by fast changeovers, and so far not impressed.
Yeah, takeover should be somewhere around 0.2 of a second, or slightly within that if possible.
At this level, yeah, for sure, but these are as we used to say, you could make a cup of tea between the person finishing the next one diving in. The swimming part of this is great. The skills on the turns have been good. The stroke rates have been absolutely fine, but plenty of work to do for these youngsters. Nice job out in front from first, setting the standard for the other junior teams to follow.
1:51.49 the time for first in that one. So that's the target for the juniors in the next one. Junior teams in 1, 5, 6 and 7. And coming back to takeovers, normally at a start, Alan, you'd expect something around 0.7ish. Yeah, 0.6, 0.7 for a start as a general. So you really want to be about half a second faster with a relay takeover. That gets you a couple of seconds.
Yeah, if you're working out the aggregate times, for sure. It depends on how fast those changeovers are. Obviously you can gain some time by doing that. The backstrokers will be looking to be on or faster than the best time because it's a legitimate start for them and for everybody else. Yeah, you want to be in that range. The closer you are, close to say half a second of your best time is a pretty good rule of thumb. So if you're Adam Peaty and you swim 57 seconds or faster for 100, take 0.5 off that. That's what you should do in the relay. Actually, he's even faster than that in the relay too, so fantastic athlete that he is. That's what some of these young men will be trying to emulate in the future.
So both St Thomas in 1, Stirling Swim in 2, South Ayrshire 3, Aberdeen Performance B Team in 4, Aberdeen Dolphins in 5, Wonder Baths B Team in 6, Perth City A in 7, and Chester Street in lane 8. So we'll see the junior teams in 5, 6, 7 and 1. So this early stage, Alan, lanes 3 and 2 going well over on the far side. Is Oscar Smiley for South Ayrshire, and they hand over. Ollie Carr for Stirling Swim goes in second. John Houston for South Ayrshire, and it is South Ayrshire still at the moment with the advantage, coming through fairly strongly in lane 4, Aberdeen Performance with Conor Morrison.
C+ for those changeovers, better than the previous heat. Still a bit of work to do. The incoming swimmer has the responsibility of getting themselves to the wall as fast as they can. It's really important that they hit the wall on the right stroke, don't misjudge it, and the person who's diving in gets confused and goes too early. So there's a skill in all of this, and with these junior teams in particular, it'll be good to see if they can make improvements on that as they progress.
Now Perth City coming through very strongly into third place. They're the junior team, and Damien Taylor will hope to finish this off with a nice fast time to get the junior title. They're leading that at the moment, but it's nip and tuck in 3 and 4. Ross Ernst and Cameron Travis, South Ayrshire and Aberdeen Performance. Cameron Travis coming back at South Ayrshire, and Cameron Travis with a late charge at South Ayrshire. We're just hanging on. South Ayrshire take that from Aberdeen Performance, and Perth City 1:49.01. That should make sure that Ann Dixon is jumping for joy, Alan, with the junior team.
I'm not sure. I've seen her.
I don't know if she'll be jumping for joy, but
I'm sure she'll be delighted that her junior men, junior boys, seemingly subject to ratification, winning that junior relay title.
A part of that team, including Jack Munsey. Third swim within a few hours.
So had a busy day.
Well, this is the big one. The fastest final. We have Aberdeen Performance in lane 1, Edinburgh University in 2, University of Stirling B team in 3, their A team in 4, City Glasgow A team in 5, and their B team in 6. 7, Ellesmere College Titans and Wanderbaths in lane 8.
Bit of a stretch to call any of those A and B teams. They're all really strong. What the Stirling and indeed the Edinburgh University teams tend to do is to split them as evenly as they can, so they're competitive with each other as well as with the other teams that they're up against. Some of last year's relays were some of the most exciting, best races we've seen in a long time. We've got some world-class swimmers here.
Strong start in 4, Martin Walton, Craig McNally 4 and 3. Our A and B team, even at this early stage, Alan, off to a cracking start. Ellesmere College Titans in 3rd. Some of these takeovers a bit better there.
Indeed they are. These are getting an A from me, I think. I haven't seen the times, but the keen-eyed spectators will be seeing the swimmers stepping over the block, not standing with their feet at the front of the block. So if you can see that here, Duncan Scott about to go in lane number 4. As he steps over, excellent change over there.
Much. Ellesmere College Titans still in 3rd place. It's advantage with the A team for the University of Stirling. Oh, it's a good body length. You can't see past them with this sort of advantage, Alan.
Very good changeover.
Very good changeover by Craig McLean. Oh, Craig McLean is trying to claw that back. Well, it's just about a metre off it. 1:33.52. Craig McLean 1:34.52. Second between the two. So the A team beat the B team. And sneaking in 3rd was City Glasgow A team.
Yeah, that's a new Scottish club record for the A team. In fact, the B team were also inside the old record, but finished in 2nd place. So great job there by the University of Stirling A team. Great changeovers. And if you are watching this live stream and at some point in the future are able to look at it again and analyse those changeovers, particularly from the bigger lads in that last heat, that step over changeover really is effective in generating momentum forwards. Still have to judge the moment when the swimmer's going to touch, but that's by some significant margin the fastest changeover that there is. In fact, the boys in particular are so good at that. We could do with bigger blocks in order to allow them to really generate even more momentum, but the size of the blocks is the way it is at the moment. Watch out for those blocks becoming longer in the future if FINA and the swimmers decide to make changes to the specifications. Blocks in the US are bigger for college competition than these ones that we see here, but that's because they can set the standard, make their own rules. They're not international standard, but they are to try and eke out as many hundreds of improvement as you can. It's almost like a running start, as some of the kids will do at the start of a session. You shouldn't run on the poolside, of course,
no,
but they do.
Just been told that was a new British record.
So we're hearing on the wires. So great job, not just a Scottish record, but a British club record, which I think was the intention by University of Stirling, and not just tonight, but in all of these relays over the subsequent evenings, Saturday and Sunday, here at the Scottish Short Course Championships.
So now into the girls' 3 heats as well to look forward to. First one, we have Chesterless Street in 2 rather. Dundee City Aquatics, it's their junior team goes in 3, Glasgow University in 4, Tynemouth in 5, and the first junior team is in lane number 6.
The young lady in lane 5 from Tynemouth, if our information is correct, is 11 years of age.
Yes.
Yeah, watch out for her in the future.
A good start in lane number 3, Scarlett Ferris.
Good use of that underwater work again. Let's see how the girls do on the changeovers.
Scarlett had a pretty useful freestyle this morning, Alan. And the 800.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to grade less than a C-, but if I am, that's where we're at the moment, setting a fairly low bar on changeovers. Nice swim for Scarlett Ferris out in front on the backstroke swimming.
We'll just have to hope that Mrs. Stoves makes up for that poor takeover, Alan, and she's competing pretty well. She's gone maybe 3 or 4 clear. Much better takeover there. C+.
Maybe I should stop grading because I'll be getting letters in to whoever is the arbiter of our commentary. There'll be like points of view on the BBC. Tell that Alan Lynn guy to stop grading the changeovers.
So Martha Reeves 4 or 5 clear now. Ron Graham for Chesterley Street has got them in 2nd place. A very good takeover in lane 4 there, Alan. You were watching that one, maybe not.
There are glimpses, yes, there are glimpses. I was actually really impressed with Martha's 50 fly.
Well, that's Kate's story. Maybe Andy Figgins had something to do with that one in his earlier days. But Shona Graham coming home for Dundee City Aquatics. 2:02.03, so that's the early target for the juniors in the next couple of heats coming up. Glasgow University in 2nd, and the first junior team in 3rd place. 2:03.69 for Glasgow Uni and 2:04.39 for first.
Another bit of swimming trivia. Kate Story's dad, Neil, is an anaesthetist in the NHS and swam for the same club as me when we were youngsters. He's a couple of years younger than me, but he was a pretty good breaststroker from Paisley Swimming Club as well, so nice to see her still swimming even though she's left the club in Helenspa and swimming with Glasgow University. So it's great to see that we're keeping these people in the sport, whether they're going to win international medals or not. Really important that the depth of participation in the sport is kept strong. These may be future officials, volunteers, coaches, club administrators, and it's not just about the people who are the fastest swimmers, which of course is fantastic, but having so many people take a part, for example, in these relays, I think is a sign of great strength in the sport.
Absolutely. On to our second heat, juniors in 1, 2, 4, 7 and 8. So South Ayrshire in 1, Warnder B team in 2, East Lothian 3, Warnder juniors in 4, Aberdeen Performance B team in 5, Mulgine Bearsden in 6, Aberdeen Dolphins 7, and Mulgine Bearsden junior team in 8. And the Mulgine Bearsden junior team in 8, Amy Shields has given them a little advantage. Kira Davidson takes over for them. And in lane 4, Wander Bass with Sophie Hoole. And Wander now coming through very strongly on their junior team.
I think as expected they are
good strength and depth there.
Indeed. Many fine young swimmers in and have come from Wander, and just showing that strength here. Look out for lane 1, Lucy Grieve, who's just broken that Scottish record for 50 flies. She's about to go. Changeovers are better as we go through the heats, which is nice to see.
Sophie Hoole for Wander, but being overtaken now by Lisa Stoddart, East Lothian in 3. Lucy Grieve, as you say, has got South Ayrshire into the lead, I think. And they've really taken it up. On to feet, a very good takeover.
I think I'm only going to say that as an A+, it's not illegal. That's the best one I've seen as long as it was legal.
Now Eve Mayer looks as though she's just going to keep this going to take this. Borderline Claire Wander coming through with Eve Corrigan into second place. But Eve, assuming everything's okay, it's good for South Ayrshire.
I think the absence of a time on lane number.
It's certainly not too. Yeah, that's better. 1:58.53. That's the new target.
Scoreboard has gone blank.
And
never usually a good sign.
Wonder what that might be for. Yeah, that dreaded blank scoreboard that you can.
Especially in relays, whenever everybody just hangs around and stares at the scoreboard, wondering what's going to happen next. Maybe the times have been confirmed, but certainly if they have, that last changeover from South Ayrshire, it's an A++ from the national coach. Still an anxious wait, I think, for South Ayrshire. The coach is smiling nervously.
And Byron looking up at the scoreboard, wondering, did we get that one right?
I admire them for attempting a fast changeover.
You've got to congratulate him on his takeover, so he's obviously been practicing it.
Well, I know they have, because I visited them reasonably recently, and the attention to detail there, starts, turns, changeovers, finishes, technique is one of the significant reasons why they are being so successful.
I certainly know another. I certainly would expect to have Midlothian in the next one. Their takeovers are usually pretty good, Alan. So I know they're in lane 8.
We're hearing that lane 1 has been.
And well, there we are. It's
plus for South Ayrshire.
1:58.53. So again, coming back to technical issue. The swimmers, if they're at 0.03 of a second minus, that is within the tolerance. So they could have been a fraction fast, but as long as it's within that parameters, that is allowable.
We did have an occasion over the summer. Mark Ford, who we saw swimming earlier in the turn back, won the junior title. He was minus 0.01 for the British team at the European Youth Olympic Festival, and has been ribbed for it consistently since then, because that was certainly a medal. It might even be a gold medal missed if he had gone slightly quicker than that. So it's important to get it right.
Yeah, but it just shows you how good a takeover that was.
It was terrific.
So well done, Byron. It's an A+ you've got. So City Glasgow junior team in 1, University of Stirling in 2. Ellesmere College Titans 3, Edinburgh University in 4, Aberdeen Performance Junior Team in 5, City Glasgow in 6, Edinburgh University B in 7, and Heart of Midlothian Junior Team in 8. Now this early stage, lane 4, Edinburgh University with the advantage.
We're not having set times on the scoreboard. You can see them on the screen. 27.51, I think, out front for Lucy Hope. The winner of the 50 breaststroke. The scoreboard is not cooperating nicely with us, but we can see Clara Hanlon there.
We're stuck on 12.3 seconds at the moment. Katie Robertson goes in for them on the butterfly.
A little bit short on the turn there, Katie. Nicely off it. Probably a bit too close to the wall on the stroke count. Yasmin Perry, a handy 50 flyer, bringing Aberdeen Performance into second place.
Ellesmere College Titans along with University of Stirling vying for third.
It's Tane Bruce bringing it home now for Edinburgh University. The scoreboard has now cooperated with all of us, so people in the Swimming Arena can see the times for all of the teams, but the winners are clearly Edinburgh University, Tane Bruce, followed by Ellesmere, Freya Anderson, and in third place,
Aberdeen Performance.
Stark for Aberdeen Performance, once of Warren Darbath's club. Hannah Miley looking particularly pleased there with a relay medal.
And 159.77 for Hearts. Aberdeen Performance in lane 5, 153.40. That will give them the junior title on.
Not with Hannah Miley in it, it won't.
Was Hannah Miley in that?
She was indeed.
She was, well, according to our sheet, she wasn't, but if Hannah Miley was indeed in that, that would mean City Glasgow, A-Team and Hearts on 159.57, 159.77 have not gone quite as fast as that 158.93 or 53, or whatever. It certainly was a 158 for South Ayrshire, so I think South Ayrshire might be the juniors.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a change to the published information there, but certainly Hannah swam and Yasmin Perry swam.
We'll find out. Will find out who's on the podium, but it may well be that Aberdeen Performance get third place, but it's a slightly different team to what we have been published with up here. And may well be, Alan, after that was published, the coaches have gone down and said we've got an injury and we've had to put...
I think what's happened is they've swapped the teams around, so the team that would have been in Heat 2 was their junior team.
Yep.
Even though it was listed as their A team. So the team who won the medal there in third place weren't the juniors, they're in fact the seniors who were on our sheet in Heat 2 but actually swam in Heat.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Last lot of presentations to come. An apology if you hear any coughing off mic, that's because I've got the lurgy, as I think most people in Scottish swimming around the pool have had at some point over the last few weeks. So apology if that spoiled your listening and viewing pleasure. You won't have to suffer that from me for the rest of the weekend. I believe there's a younger, fitter, maybe even better looking co-commentator going to be wearing this headset and microphone. All will be revealed.
There's probably another good looking commentator swapping roles with me tomorrow.
How could that be true?
I'm sure that will be the case. It's just a few paces across from where we are.
Oh, I think I know who you mean.
Yeah.
There's Alison Lowe, past president of Scottish Swimming and the head coach of Aberdeen, presenting the medals.
So there's the medalist for that 50 butterfly, Callum Bain, Scottish Open champion, and national champion Scott McClay. Evan Jones from Millfield School is the junior champion.
Swam this afternoon, keeping up the family tradition of butterfly. Of course, his dad Tim, who's the head of elite development for British swimming, was an Olympian in 1988 in Seoul. Won the B final, I believe, as they called it in those days. So a handy flyer in his own right, and Evan keeping that tradition very much alive in the Jones household.
So we move on to the women's 50 butterfly presentation. Would you say that's the biggest surprise of the night?
Not so much the time, but certainly the positioning. I would have expected Tane probably to have won, but let's say just more effective off the start and off the turn, and got a stroke count right. Tane swam well, but just beaten on the evening by a slightly better swim from the younger swimmer.
Kiana McInnes, bronze medalist. Tane Bruce, silver medalist. And Scottish national champion from South Ayrshire. 26.59.
looking a bit tentative, stepping up there, Lucy Grieve. Nicely done, big smile. Slightly embarrassed, I think. She should be delighted.
She's probably thinking this shouldn't have happened, Alan.
Yeah, well.
But it did.
It did, and she deserves all the plaudits for that win and that Scottish junior record.
A double win, junior champion and Scottish champion, and a Scottish junior record to boot. So I think we just have the last lot of medal presentations coming up. This is the men's medley. Colin Kennedy, I think, is doing the presentations this time. That's our Vice President.
Nice to see so many people in the stands tonight. Traditionally, a Saturday night is a busy night for a weekend competition in swimming at all levels. But we had a pretty good crowd in this evening, treated to some fine swimming, some fast swimming, and obviously those records that we've been talking about. Plenty of them, senior, junior, individual and relay.
Yes, indeed. So the Glasgow's winning bronze medalist team are Mark Ford, Max Hagan, Gregor Swinney and Grant Henderson. I'm sure some of these older lads, Gregor Swinney, Grant Henderson, will be delighted to get medals at this event, especially against the university boys.
Yeah, yes, exalted company, I think it's fair to say.
So the B team for the University of Stirling, silver medalist, Craig McNally, Craig Benson, Callum Bain, Craig McLean. You only get in that team if your name starts with a C.
Yes. Not the C team, but a team of C's.
Yeah. And the new club race record time. The University of Stirling A team, Martin Moulton.
Never mind bigger blocks, we need a bigger podium for these.
They do indeed. Scott McClay, Ross Murdoch and Duncan Scott. And Colin Kennedy could do a ladder to try and get the medals up.
Yeah.
And it was Perth City who are the junior champions. Nice to see Perth City getting on the podium, a junior team.
Strength and depth is important for the sport and for clubs. If they're winning a junior title, boys or girls, then that shows good strength and depth across the
Jack Munsey,
scope of your club.
Jack Munsey, Murray Pritchard, Christopher Aiken and Demi Taylor. Well done, lads. Nice to see you also on the podium.
The fact that they are outside of the central belt, outside of the bigger clubs, it wouldn't be insulting to add any other description of that, but Perth is a smaller club, and certainly a great job by those four boys, even though they can't get their backsides onto the blocks. Here they go. Viewers won't necessarily see or know what the podium is, but it's actually a relic of the Glasgow 2014 Commonwealth Games, where a number of the items like that were distributed around Scottish sport. The equipment that was used in the sports, the medal presentation, podiums as you see there, and it's a fantastic legacy from Glasgow 2014 that we're able to use here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool. I don't know which one that was in particular, but it'll certainly have been stood on by some of the most exalted athletes across the Commonwealth. Maybe Usain Bolt.
Maybe indeed. So our last set of presentations are the women's 4x50 medley relay.
Junior team, or junior title, also won by a smaller club. What the swimmers coaches will do now is, if there's quite a lot of them still swimming down in front of us here in the diving pit at the Commonwealth Pool, they'll be recovering. No ice baths this year, which is something that has featured in previous years. A lot of swimming down, a lot of recovery, some compression garments for some of the older swimmers, and then importantly refueling, rehydrating and coming down from the emotion of the racing and the excitement and getting a good night's sleep, back up to do it again tomorrow. One of the mantras that we had last year in Gold Coast, the Commonwealth Games, was a series of one-day meets rather than seeing it as a 6-day meet, and it gets more difficult as the meet goes on. We talked about 6 one-day meets, in fact 10 one-day meets with the 4 diving competitions as well, and you wake up fresh, ready to go each single day. The British team call that every day is day one, and our version of that was 6 one-day, 10 one-day meets, so that everybody comes up ready to go each day, and you don't get that residual effect of, oh, I'm tired, it's day 3 or day 4 or whatever. So hopefully the swimmers and coaches have their own version of that as this competition and longer competitions go on, because it would be foolish to say that it's not taxing and tiring, but mentally you've got to wake up and be ready to go every single day. The Olympics will be 10 days next year if you make that next time around. That's something you have to mentally as well as physically prepare for.
So last set of presentations. Absolutely right, Alan. It was just a misprint on our sheet. Aberdeen Performance B team, which is actually their A team. Emily Grant, Anna Miley, Yasmin Perry, and Katie Stark. Take the bronze medal. And they are Kate Butler, Maya Hall, Pia
The difference between the two of them swapping Lucy Hope, and Lucy could have done freestyle, was hands down better than anything else we saw tonight, to the extent that we're even.